Thanks, Karine. I want to ask about the economy.
Shocker.
I know. So a new Fox News poll shows that only 36% of voters approve of the president's handling of the economy. 31% approve of the ways handling inflation. Are voters just not getting the right message, or is there something wrong with the president's policies?
So look, first of all, no, there's nothing wrong with the president's policy. The last administration did not have a comprehensive plan on how to deal with COVID, hence the Inflation Reduction Act. That's also going to lower costs on healthcare, lower cost on energy, and also reduce the deficit by $200 billion. So we believe that the president's economic policy is working, and all you have to do is look at the data.
Does the president then tell those people whose wages are rising, but rising less than inflation is rising, when can those people expect their wages to outpace inflation?
So look, we have talked about this many times, that we are headed into a more stable and steady growth, and we think that, and I think I've mentioned this last time, there might be some setbacks. We have the president and Democrats who are doing the work to try and grow the economy, and then we have Republicans who want to do the complete opposite. They want to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act, which is actually going to hurt the economy, which is actually going to increase health, if you think about the health prices, and it's going to actually increase energy costs, because that's what the Inflation Reduction Act is supposed to do, and is going to raise havoc on the deficit. So we're trying to do the right thing. Meanwhile, Republicans are trying to reverse the work that we have been trying to do over the last 2 years.
On the student loans case, the Supreme Court's going to hear tomorrow. Does the president believe there's a viable plan B if the court strikes down the plan? And more broadly, how is the administration preparing for that possibility?
So, and I think I've said this before, we are very much confident in our legal authority here. What we want to remind American people more broadly is how this program is going to give tens of millions of Americans across the country a little bit of a breathing room to buy a home. And that's how we're seeing this plan and this process. It's unfortunate that some Republicans officials across the country think differently. They don't think that Americans need a little breathing room. You have Republican officials who don't agree with this and who want to make it more difficult for Americans to get that relief.
The president's going to put out a plan soon on Social Security. Senator Sanders would like to see an expansion of benefits. He'd like to see that paid through ending payroll taxes on higher income Americans. How does the president assess this, and does he think you could actually expand Social Security benefits while still strengthening the long-term viability of the system?
But what we see right now, and what the president is focused on, is the immediate threat that we've been hearing from Republicans for some time on cutting Social Security, on cutting Medicare, and so look, we're gonna fight that. The president said you heard him during the State of the Union. He was very, very, very strong and very clear. As I've mentioned, the president's going to have a budget that he's going to put forth next week. No, not next week, March 9th. I can't remember where we are in the month.
On the boosted SNAP benefits that are going to expire this week, what's the administration's message to the Americans who are going to really feel the brunt of this once these expire?
So, as you know, Karen, as you just mentioned, Congress made the decision back in December to allow pandemic-era benefits to expire next month. As a reminder, USDA updated the 30 food plan, resulting in SNAP benefits increasing by an average of $36.30 per person per month, beginning October 2021. This SNAP benefit increase lifted an estimate 2.3 million people out of poverty, including nearly 1 million children, with an average of, an even greater impact on children of color. Actions.
And just some of the data that you just cited about the millions of people that were kept out of poverty and the percentages that dropped to reduce poverty for people and child poverty, is the expectation now that those gains will be wiped out and that will increase then?
So what I can commit to is that USDA is going to continue to do what they can to deal with a real issue. As we've been talking about the economy over the last 30 minutes here, that's why the president, we believe, has an economic plan, and it's been proven by the data that grows the economy.
Yes, thank you, Karine. Following up on Karen's question, is there any concern within the White House or politically that even though the president is not the one responsible for the fact that these benefits may be ending, that we may see polling data 2 months from now that blame him for more people being in a tough situation, or whether the effects that it may have on the economy if there are more people who are struggling to get basic needs met or have less money to spend on those necessities. Is there any concern politically about how how to prevent the president from being blamed for that?
So look, I'm not going to get into politics from here. I'm not going to certainly give a hypothetical answer to potential polling, which as we know is a snapshot in time. Just talked about the student loan. I just talked about how the economy we see is growing because of his economic policy. I just talked about policy because of the Inflation Reduction Act. I get the question about SNAP. I get the question about how politically this may look for the president, but it's not just one thing here. This is more broadly, if you look at what the president has done